real villains, so we, yeah. Until the cops come fill me over lead. Oh, my girl can't please me in my bed. On my third eye falls on my head.
See, don't scare them now.
As sticky as it gets them in a spread. The galaxy we live in isn't here. And honestly, we made it all up out of fear. Why these niggas growing up too fast? Up too fast. Why these little niggas growing up too fast? Up too fast. If you wanna hate, tell them kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. I finna go engage with the money. Just got a glimpse of a wallet. Devil on my shoulder said copy. Real nigga rock.
Physically strong to help you throughout the rest of your life, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual. Now's your chance, guys, to chat with these guys, ask them about programming and any questions you might have for any of these guys. So a lot of them are here for a lot of good reasons. I mean, they own successful brands. They obviously can pull a shit ton of weight off the floor. So ask them whatever you need to. Go ahead. Floor is open for questions.
Believing is the key to true strength, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How did each of you get started? Like, did you start with powerlifting? Did you start with CrossFit? Like, what brought you to this?
I was unhappy with my body and I started walking to work. So I lived in DC and I walked like 2 miles to work every day. So that was my starting point. And then that led into a decision to run a half marathon. Then I did CrossFit. Then I did a bikini show. Then I did a weightlifting competition. Then I did strongman. And then I found powerlifting. So I've tried everything.
What's next?
Progressed to college, and then after that I got jobs in strength and conditioning. Where a co-worker of mine introduced me to CrossFit, and here we are.
Same with me. Started high school, football, basketball, track, year round for like 5 years. It just kind of really continued through. It's just my job now, and I love to do it. So I like to experiment with CrossFit training, powerlifting, some bodybuilding type training. Just to become a hybrid of everything. So I'm ready for everything. So that's kind of like where I come from.
Yeah, I always played sports. My parents had me in sports my entire life, and then high school wrestling was my best sport. And I had one of my coaches taught us how to snatch and clean jerk. Not necessarily the best technique, but at least we knew, got some exposure to the list, right? You knew what it was when you saw it. So then after I got out of high school a little bit, I actually kind of got into, I was coaching wrestling and stuff, and I got into CrossFit, and then that pretty quickly got me into competing in weightlifting, and that's actually, I've done more of that than anything else at this point.
Played basketball year-round for about 15 years, and when that kind of path was over, I still had dreams of going on, play at a higher level, and we started to research how to get bigger, stronger, faster. I'm 5'8", So when you play basketball, you're gonna have to have other attributes. So it basically takes you to some kind of squat, some kind of hip hinge, and that's kind of where I found powerlifting. Did it on my own for 3 or 4 years, and then I was lucky enough to find a pretty dang good community in Super Training Gym, and from then on, it's kind of been powerlifting for about 8 years.
Whether you've dealt with it yourself or you've coached people through it, how do you deal with performance anxiety?
Your current session doesn't define you. Your last meet doesn't define you. Realize that you have, if you're smart with programming, smart with training, you have a long time to continue to do this. So that lessens, your anxiety starts to diminish as you get more and more experience. So just know that where you are right now, this moment, is just pennies in the bank, and you're kind of building up for you in 10 years.
Sometimes it could be something as simple as just psyching yourself out before a lift. Trying different things. Maybe you need to be a more amped up lifter. Maybe you need to be a more cerebral lifter. So kind of finding different things that help you to do one of the two and find which works best and continue to do that. What was the question again? Performance anxiety? Me? When I have a crowd like this, it's like I have no option but to show out. You know what I'm saying? It's the energy. Some people don't like a gym full of people. I do, because I feel off of everybody's energy, and it helps me, become stronger. Really push myself. Try not to embarrass myself by doing it. And tunnel vision. When you hit the gym, whatever you're doing in your exercises, all this just kind of diminishes, right? And you have to realize that your goal is what's most important. And you can't let that anxiety stop you from reaching your goal.
2 things that are, one is kind of help some people think about, okay, so what is the worst case scenario? Really, what? So you go and you miss all of your lifts, then what? You go to the gym the next day and you keep training. It's life goes on. It's not the end of the world. It's not really that big of a deal, you know what I mean? There are this might sound crazy, there are bigger things in life than how much weight you lifted on that day. You know what I mean? So really think about what is the worst thing that possibly happen. Okay, I don't make any of my lifts. All right, well, do it. I did 25 weightlifting meets over the course of 4 years, and I was nervous. I felt like I had to go pee before every single one. You know what I mean? Every one, 25 meets before, you know what I mean? And it is what it is. You just need to do it anyway. I know it's funny, what do I do about anxiety? It's do it anyway. And then eventually you get used to that feeling. It doesn't feel as odd. You're oh, this is what it feels like before I compete, And once you kind of embrace that, then you're in good shape.
I talk about sacrificing for the unknown. Basically, that just means that we can put in all this work, all these reps, all these sets, and we do everything perfectly. Programming, confidence to me is kind of knowing who I am and knowing who I am not. And if I stick with that, and I feel like I'm a 80-year-old dude inside a 29-year-old dude's body, but I'm just very okay with that, and that kind of touches on all of these. If I miss a lift, it's okay. I'm not a world record holder. That's not what I come to be. I come to teach. I come to inspire, hopefully entertain. And if those things happen, then that's who I am. And if you know who you are, yeah, you'll probably be all right.
What's the reason why you guys wake up and put so much effort into what you guys do?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of things. I think some things are just habit and following my passion. And those are things, people, similar questions. Why are you motivated? Or what inspires you? And, I don't have to listen to Korn every time I work out and watch Sean Beckham videos gonna be all stoked up. Although they're dope. That's just not what I need. I follow what I want to do, and that's progress. I want to get better, and so that's kind of the reason I wake up every day.
Just pretty much same type thing is you can't make the decision every single day. That's just a diet. If you say, okay, every meal you decide whether or not you're gonna follow your diet, you're gonna fail all the time. So same thing with training. If before you go to the gym, you make the decision then if you're gonna train or not, you're not gonna be successful. You need to decide now, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to follow this program, I'm gonna train 6 days a week, and I'm gonna do whatever the goal is in the long term. And then you just wake up and you do it. And so when you get up in the morning, you may not wanna go to the gym, but you're not making that decision. You already made that decision. You know what I mean? It's actually really easy to stay consistent in your training if you don't decide every single day. You need to decide ahead of time that this is just what you're doing, it's part of your life, and then you just do it.
So one thing I preach on my channel is motivation is good. You're motivated to do something, but it's hunger that keeps you going. If you're hungry for something, if that's what you want to do, then what's stopping you? You got to eat. We all got to eat. It don't matter. Captain Crunch, whatever. So it's I wake up every morning because I wake up early every morning. Actually, I wake up, I get my run in the morning done. I might work out in the morning, 6 o'clock or whatever. And I think about the next challenge. 2 years ago I tried out for the NFL, didn't have any college experience. I made it there just from my hunger to want to do something, and I gave it a shot. I didn't make it, but it took me a while to accept the fact that I made it to a Jets camp was a great accomplishment. And just last year, the next challenge, tried out for WWE. Still talking about it, but that's what's going on. And then next year it's like, all right, I think of a lot of things like to keep myself busy, to keep training for something. Next year I talked about doing CrossFit games. Just getting ready for that and just seeing where life takes me, basically. Ninja Warriors, Beastmasters, I'm trying to do all that, man.
Part of my everyday life is just who I am now. Whether it's CrossFit, whether it has to do with building a brand, whether it has to do with my family, my wife and kids. It's just who I am. I'm continually wanting to better myself, no matter what aspect of my life it is, and it's just been a part of who I've been since that weight room mentality of wanting to get better.
My mission in life, what I'm here to do, is to get a barbell in every woman's hands.
Everyone here has their own goals. Say like you want to be a basketball player, football, a swimmer like me, or anything else in matter, because as long as you have family and friends that believe in you, have the confidence in you, then there's no way you can't lose. Because my motto is, I won't give up till it's over, because I'll do it for my late grandma, I'll do it for everyone here, I'll do it for Kenny, to the end, because my main goal is to help all equality around and help people who have disabilities, like autism, like I do. But the most important thing is never give up until it's over. We keep going to the very end. That's what it really matters. That's what
would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Anything that's going on right now probably isn't gonna matter in a year from now. So try to just not freak out about it, and I probably would have told myself to start a YouTube channel at 20. But I wish I wasn't as dumb as I was at 20. So
I would tell myself to finish what you started.
First I'll adapt myself up. I would just tell them that, man, it will be all right, because I had so many fears of not just doing something, just doing it, and I would just tell them like, yo, you're gonna be all right, my G. Your mama, your daddy, the Lord, we got you, bro. Alright? That's all.
I would have probably said to slow down. Like, I'm a next step guy. It was always like, okay, so high school's over now. Well, now I'm going to college. I'm not going to junior college. I'm going to 4-year. That's what you do. And you go to a 4-year and you finish your degree, and then you get your master's, and then you get a job, and then you don't know what to do. And that's it. It's like next step, next step, next step, next step, and then you're just, and then you're there. You know what I mean? And so kind of slow down, enjoy the process. Having the next goal and the next step in mind is always a good thing, but you don't always need to be, you should enjoy what you're doing now, not always thinking about how something else is going to be better, the next step's going to be better. You know what I mean? Enjoy what's happening a little more rather than always trying to live in the future.
On one hand, nothing. It's just kind of how things went. Early 20s, up until about 25, I feel. I went through some things. My best friend passed away, my father passed away. And that's just part of life, and that's what you learn, And I guess on the other hand, I'd probably just say a little bit like Meg's YouTube channel, but just follow your passions a little bit earlier. I felt the same kind of, not regret, but heaviness, the weight that these guys felt of going to school, getting a job, wearing a tie and all that. And I dropped out of college 2 or 3 years in, and I felt so bad about it. And now I feel awesome about it. I think it's sick I'm a college dropout. I really do.
My life is great, ain't for way. I don't know about you.
It's cleared out. We're done. Kenny's over here cursing and shit. This is PG right here.
Let's go. It's pretty impressive tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming.
And I'm sore.
I had such a wonderful time.
Yeah, did you really?
I know, I really did.
Time to get lit.
It's just so
Peace.